Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. In 1987, four childhood friends were reunited after 10 years to investigate the murder of a mentor they all shared. During this time, they unlocked the deep secrets of the past and found themselves exposed to the darkness that surrounded them. Soon it became more than a fight for justice, and instead it became a fight against the ultimate evil. 6 months later, in the winter of 1988, bonded by their knowledge of the dark unknown, they have decided to no longer be the victim. Now they seek out the deep roots of satanic corruption that hides in the shadows of society, all the while trying to mentor a new companion seeking justice for the death of his cousin. Institutionalized is the second story arc in the Chronicles of Darkness first edition story, The Ultimate Evil, set in Bismarck, North Dakota in 1988. Join us in this tale of satanic horror with Wayne, played by Adam, Che, played by Andrew, Alex, played by Mitch, Michael, played by Slavic, and the newcomer Derek, played by Tillman. If you'd like to contact us, you can find us on Twitter at twin_cities_VTM and on Facebook and Discord at Twin Cities by Night. If you'd like to help support the podcast, you can find us on Patreon at Twin Cities by Night. We hope you enjoy.
Mike, you push the bar and you slowly open the door and you see, you're looking down, you're looking like at your head. Excuse me, you're looking at the height of your head. Your flashlight comes across, you don't see anything, but then you scroll down with your flashlight and you see like blood is going down the steps. Like it's a trail of blood that is going down the steps there. And you look and you see the steps are similar to the steps that you went up on the other end of the hall. That's the way you guys came up. But now you see like similar steps that are going down that way. And you see at least down to like, it goes down and then there's another turn to go down. Then you're to the third floor. You can see, at least as far as you can see like, looks like a blood trail went down there.
Michael sort of turned to Derek and say, not say anything, but he'll do this sort of facial gesture of like, let's go.
And right before you go, I hate to do this to you, Derek. Do me a wits and composure roll, please. I love that roll. It's like so, like it's like perception and awareness, dude. You know, like
I wish I could just take a specialty in wits plus composure.
I know, right? I'm so sorry, but hey, it's my game. I can do what the fuck I want to do. Yeah.
This time I fail. I guess Derek is freaking out.
No problem. So Derek, you just see him motion and you go ahead and you start going down, following behind him. Mike, you're walking slowly down the steps, your pistol out in front of you, I assume, with your flashlight. You get to the first bend where you turn and you continue to go down and you see the blood keeps going down. Tap, 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 tap. And then you see for a second, you're trying to see if it keeps going down or turning, because you're at the third floor door now where you can go into the east side of the third floor. And then it keeps going down. Tap, 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 tap. So you're going to continue to go down?
Yeah. There's like doors, right?
So there's like, you're right now, you went down like 10 steps and then there was a turn to go down like another 10 steps. And then now you're on the third floor door. So to where you could open to go into the third floor, but you see the blood is continuing to go down the steps.
Okay. So what Mike's going to do is first he's going to tell Derek to show Derek to stand there, make sure nothing comes up or down. And then he's going to peek out of the door.
You're going to peek
without the flashlight.
Oh, so you're going to open the third floor door and kind of peek down there? Mm-hmm. So you slowly press the bar. Actually, do give me let me get my book here so I can dexterity and stealth, please.
Dexterity and stealth.
Don't fail. You saw what happened to Wayne.
Nothing happened.
I'm going to use a willpower on this.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Use a willpower.
Just because I feel like this is a high drama, high stakes situation. That could use a bit of a boost. One success. Oof. Good thing I didn't.
So when you go push the bar, you hear a little, for a second, like a little tension and squeak. You stop for a second, and then you just kind of push it a little bit more, and you feel like the release and the door open up, and you poke your head in there. And when you turn, you can kind of see the windows. You know how I said those hallway windows that were facing the north side. And the first thing you notice is you see off, past the window, past the grass, where there's some old buildings, you see it looks like there's flames going. It's hard to tell because the wind is blowing, the snow is going, but you can see orange of fire there. And then you turn and you look and you see that there's dark figures that are walking in the hallway, and you smell smoke. Like smoke is coming from one of the rooms, and you realize that there's like flickers of light coming from some of the rooms in there, and you're able to piece together that these figures are probably lighting fires in these rooms here and are running about the hallways while they're doing it.
Is there a fire alarm in the
school
hallway?
In the hallway, yes, actually, by the same map. You remember how I mentioned there was a map by the door, and then there was like a couple light switches and a fire alarm? Yes, there is.
Oh well, let's just leave them to it and go downstairs.
So what's going on in your head right now when you kind of like saw those figures? Were you scared? Are you in the zone?
I mean, I feel like Mike's confused at first because like bleeding guy, fires, but it sort of clicks together, just because it's like whenever you feel like Satanism or something like that, you see people, you feel like, or it evokes images of like people lighting fires or something, or like dancing around fires or whatever. And then you have this blood. So he's like calculating what he can do, and he's already heard a gunshot, but there were no other shots, and these guys are obviously fine, and they're not his guys. So he doesn't really want to confront them. So it's like, I gotta check this out first, but we gotta, make sure our 6 is covered. So he'll sort of try to gesture so that Derek makes sure like that no one's following them. Okay. I'll just point towards them. Like look towards the back.
I assume, Derek is just staring at him like pleadingly in panic, but he gets the meaning.
And Mike will sort of grab his shoulder and give him like a reassuring squeeze.
What's going on after that squeeze? Like what does that help you feel more motivated? I think this could be a good chance to do like a leadership role where maybe you can see if it like does, but
I mean, that makes sense actually.
Yeah. Let's have you roll presence and leadership. Is there a leadership role?
No, there's no leadership.
You can maybe go with
empathy,
socialize or
empathy, or streetwise.
Let's do presence and empathy. Presence and empathy.
Presence and empathy makes sense. 3 dice. Nothing great. No successes.
So he grabs your shoulder and he squeezes your shoulder, and you can see he's trying to convey, but you're still feeling like amped up, scared shitless. You're in this dark hallway, one flashlight, one gun, and you just kind of follow. And let me ask you this, Derek, is your fear almost to the point of being debilitating? Like, do you feel like is he feeling connected to himself still at this moment to where he like that fears is making him hyper vigilant, or is he starting to feel like, okay, I'm just like going through the motions now, I'm just blind, like, following him? Like, what kind of effect does this fear have on you right now?
I think he's still like in the hypervigilance mode. He's definitely like, his eyes are darting around from doorway to doorway and behind them and back, but he feels very self-conscious in a way because he's, on the one hand, he's not really armed. He feels very useless, and also being his size, he suddenly feels very obvious, like not stealthy at all, and like he's afraid of fucking everything up for the two of them, but he also knows he can't like exactly leave Mike alone or like try to leave the building by himself. That would be even more dangerous.
So you're continuing to go down the steps, Michael. You see that the blood continues to go down the first set of steps and then cuts down to like, where like it kind of goes, like we said before, it goes like 10 down and then it turns around and goes 10 down to the second floor. And you follow the blood and you see that the blood is still going down there. And there's a second where you're on the second floor and you see the door is there, and you go and you look down the steps, you see the blood continues to go down like it would lead to the first floor. But this time you guys both smell smoke. And as the flashlight goes past the second floor door, you kind of see like a little bit of it coming from underneath, like the crack there. Not a lot, not like there's some heavy on fire, but you definitely tell that there's smoke coming from down there.
Well, Mike is not going to be opening that door, I think, simply because it might bring more air to the fire or whatever. And like he already knows, like these guys are upstairs, right? So they already were on the second stairs, so they probably already lit the fires there, and they'll probably have some trouble on the first floor because they probably already set the fire there. If they did it like from first floor, second floor, third floor, even though that would be very likely to kill them, he knows that these people don't think rationally. And yeah, he continues to go down.
So you start going down the steps, and Derek, you start following them. You're about 3 steps down when you hear the door burst open from behind you on the second floor, Derek. And you turn, you look, and you see figures start rushing down the door, but you can't make out quite what they look like because it's still rather dark in the hallway right now. And we're going to cut to Alex. Alex, you're running through the snow right now, and you see this pack of, you're looking behind, and it looks maybe it's like 5 or 6 people that are running after you. You can't quite make out what they look like. You just see that they probably all have the same kind of clothes on. You can tell like they're definitely lighter from like the waist down. Like, so maybe it might be khaki pants, but you're bursting across this parking lot and you start running to this through the grass that leads to this ominous barn. And you see the barn, like the lights of the barn. And as you're running, there's a second where you see like the barn and you're going, and then you look and you see off to your right, there's a group of people like huddled over something. And there's a moment you're trying to make out what it is, but you can't make out because of the snow that's like rushing through the air and the wind that's blowing. You can't even really hear anything because of the howling of the wind until you hear this loud, like crack, pop, like sounds like a gunshot that goes through the air. Then you hear another one and then another one real quick. And you look behind you and you see that like 3 of these figures that were chasing after you kind of like fall. They like stumble on the ground, and you see that there's like a figure in the parking lot, and you can't quite make out what it is, but you see like bright blares of like, it looks like maybe gunshots or something coming from the parking lot for a second. And then when 3 of them drop, you see the 3 figures look at the parking lot, and then they burst running in the opposite direction. Like they're running towards like one of the dormitories or running towards the group of the other 3 people, or the group of the huddled people that are closer to the barn. What are you doing?
I'm going to redirect towards the parking lot. If they're running away from it, I want to run towards it.
So you turn and you start running back towards the parking lot. And as you're getting closer, you see the form of John Donaldson there, the security guard that you guys had talked to before. And as you get closer, you see him. He looks like he has like this hunting rifle of some sort, like with the scope that people usually use for hunting in the area. But then you see that like, wait, he doesn't have his jacket on. Like he has no jacket on. You just see looks like a dark wet spot that's like on the side of his navy blue shirt, like that's all along like the lower left abdomen. And as he sees you rushing by, you see him for a second, like he drops the rifle and he kind of like drops to one knee, and you make it right up to him, and like he's like trying to grab onto your arm so he doesn't fall all the way. And you see him looking up at you, and you see his eyes look like wise and like wide and like almost like he's going into shock at this moment. Matter of fact, you similarly have seen this through your drug abusing years of people who maybe did too much or knew that they were like on the verge of overdosing, and you see him look at you for a second. He's just like, your friends, help me. Oh shit, guy, it fucking hurts. And his face like looks even more pale in the snow as he's like trying to like get you to help him up or something to this extent.
I'm going to help him up. And as I help him up, I'm going to grab the rifle.
Okay.
And I'm looking at him like, you got more ammo for this thing?
Oh, it's in the security house by the barn there. Shit, I got more over there. And then as you sitting there talking, all of a sudden you see like the 3rd and the 2nd floor like windows. You see them getting brighter, like of the like this building that you just came from. Like you look behind you and you see like you're actually looking behind him. And you can see the building. It looks like flames are starting to come from like the 3rd and the 2nd floor. And you see some starting to come from the 4th floor. And you're even for a second, when you were looking through the storm, you can see like between the west dormitory building and the main office building, you can see way back. It looks like there might be more flames going, like into like something that you didn't even know existed back there. You can see them they're obfuscated kind of by the wind and the snow going on, but you could definitely see that they stick out like that. So you gotta get me by the where I took you to, where I thought you gotta get me over there. You gotta be careful. Oh shit, I don't know if I can walk. Fuck. And he's like holding his side.
Yeah, I think you need some medical attention. You got a first aid kit?
In the house I do. Here, just help me up. And he's like trying to like get you to prop him up, And
I'll help him up.
Yeah, and he's like hands you like the rifle's on the ground. You could like grab the rifle while you're like propping him up.
Oh yeah, I'm grabbing the rifle.
And he's like pointing kitty corner. And you see like where the barn is, and then you see like this silhouette that's kind of like southeast of the barn. And you have to cross like that main street that kind of like you guys drove up to get to the parking lot to get there. He's like, shit, what the fuck is happening? Some of the kids attacked me. What the fuck is happening, man?
Yeah, it's you know what? We'll talk about it later. Let's get you somewhere safe.
Yeah, and you're having a hard time even talking because the wind's blowing. You actually like feeling the wind now. You're starting to feel like having to carry him in your sweat, and like the breeze hitting your sweat. You're starting to feel like a little chilly, like a little cold, and you're starting to feel that dampness. And you guys are making your way by some trees. You see him always like, stop, stop, stop. He like says to you while you're like by some trees that are you're across the road, and you're kind of by some trees that are along the road there, and he's like telling you to stop.
I'll stop for a second. What's up?
And then he's like pointing slowly his finger, and you see like the group of kids are like carrying a figure that, and you're having a hard time making it out. I'm gonna have you give me a wits and composure roll.
3 successes.
As you're looking, you're like, what the fuck? And you're trying to make out what they're carrying, and then like they come across like one of the lamps that are there, and you see like a long hair, like a ponytail kind of like hanging off, and you see a flannel, and you realize it's Wayne that they're like carrying in there. He's unconscious or something, but there's like 10 of them that like a couple of them are carrying him, and the others are like walking along as they're going into the barn.
Oh yeah, that's not good. Fuck, I'm gonna take aim at one of the kids with the rifle.
And you see the moment like you set him down, and you see like you're pulling up the weapon. He's like, no, what are you doing? You're gonna go ahead and fire?
Yeah, but I'm gonna fire not at Wayne.
No, I know, right? So I'm gonna have you give me a dexterity and firearms. Damage is 5, so you add 5 dice to it. But I'm gonna have you subtract 3 because of the blizzard conditions that are going on right now. So you're trying to like aim at these figures that are walking there, but it's hard to see. The wind is blowing. It's not optimal. So dex and firearms +5 -3. So dex and firearms +2.
3 successes.
So you sit there and you're like looking at this scope. And the scope comes across like the figures, and you see it's clear. It's like so insanely clear. And it reminds you of like when you went hunting, like your neighbor, your dad never really hunted that much, but your neighbor like offered to take your dad and you hunting when you were like 10, and you shot your first deer, and you remember looking through the scope and just being caught off guard by how clear and how everything was at this high resolution. And when you come across for a second, you see Wayne being carried, and you see like his face looks super pale, and you see like his blood is just like pouring out of his side, and he looks like on the brink of death. And there's a moment where you get to like one of the figures there, and it's like this redheaded figure who turns. It's almost like that eerie second where he turns and like he's looking, and you pull the trigger. And like you just see it like boom, it just like hits him in the chest, and he like falls back. And it's this loud cracking sound that goes through the air, like crack. And you see like the figures for a second almost drop Wayne, but you see them rush into the barn, and you see like 4 figures are like looking at you, and you see it screaming, you see it huddling around, and all of a sudden you see like the barn doors, the main ones slide open, and you see more figures starting to rush out. Like there's more boys that are coming. And there's actually this eerie second where your scope goes across it, and then your scope goes back across towards like the dormitories and schools, and you're realizing like, shit, you see like silhouettes of like sporadically like throughout the snow. Like all these kids are somehow going outside and heading towards this barn.
Is there a large tank of like propane maybe on the side of the barn?
You're looking around and you don't see
any propane accessories.
Yeah, you don't see anything. And you see him go, yeah, go. And he's like, for a second, you see John is like sitting there because he had to sit down while he fired the shot, and he grabs your arm and he's like, give me the gun. Go, give me the gun. And he just like is trying to grab the gun from you, and he's like trying to push you away. And there's a second where he takes
I give him the gun.
And then he grabs his belt clip, and you see him like unclip these keys. There's like a ring of keys. It's like, go, I'll just go. And you see like blood is starting to like bubble up from his mouth a little bit, like when he's getting himself worked up, and he like pushes the keys into your like waist because he can't reach up to your chest. Go, house, go.
All right, I'll bolt for the security house.
So you're running towards like this, and you realize the security house, it's like this old house that probably was on this land that was like probably built like 100 years ago, or probably around that time frame, but it's been renovated and upkept. It looked like it could be like a quaint home, for like a family of 3 or a family of 4, but you're running along it, and you come past the trees, and all of a sudden you're crack, bow, bow. And you look behind you and you see like the group of boys are rushing towards where he was at, not where you're at. Like they don't see you at the moment. You come rushing up to the side of this house and you see that there's like, you're on the side of it and you see like there's a window on the side, that like a small one that maybe was like in a bathroom or something to that extent. And you're running up towards the front where there's like this patio, like an old porch that like people would sit on, maybe with like rocking chairs, and would sit and drink like their lemonade or sit and drink their coffee in the morning. But at this moment, you just see that there's lights that are coming from inside of it. You come around the front of onto the porch and you see like there's a door and there's like a normal large window that would exist there. And you see like warm light coming to it. And you go up to the door and you try the knob and the knob doesn't work. Right? You know, you're trying to turn the knob and it's locked.
I'll use the keys to unlock it.
So you're like looking through the keys for a second. You're like, shit. And then you see like one with they have those little like tags, you know, the color tags where you can write like on them, like this is what this key is for. And you see one that says like security house. And you're like, oh shit. You're like trying to get it in there. Your hands are kind of numb at the moment. Your adrenaline's rushing. Your hands like shaking and you like get it into it and it turns. And you're like, oh, you feel like the door, the handle turn and you like push your way in and you see that it's just empty right now. Like you're in this like little, like it looks like a sitting area, you know, where people would set up like a little like guest couch or something for people to sit before they go in there. And you close the door behind you.
I lock the door behind me.
And you lock the door behind you. Wayne.
Yep.
Everything is black. You feel lightness. You feel almost like the time that you smoked really strong weed and you felt like out of body. That time where you felt like out of control, like you weren't in control of your senses, you weren't in control of your body, you weren't in control of your perceptions. That fear that probably wrapped itself around you at that time. You were probably young when it happened, you know, being way too high, thinking you're, you know, like trying to look back on it the next day and like not understanding like what you were seeing, not understanding what happened. It was almost this out of body. It was almost like your mind and your perception was open too much to what it's not being able to handle. But it's not that fear though. It's this peacefulness, like an acceptance, like a warmness that you're inside. It's almost like that brink of being in deep REM sleep, where you're kind of almost aware that you're going to sleep. You're kind of almost can still think a little bit, but also your mind is controlling itself and your mind is going off on its own. And you feel in this darkness for a second, like a wind, like a breeze. And at first you start thinking like, wait, like I know it was cold outside. I know there's a blizzard. You know, you like these thoughts are just like flowing through your perception and you can't grasp onto them. But you almost it smells like a summer breeze, like a spring wind that kind of like goes through and carries like pollen and life and reminders that like this is a time to be relaxed. Like the elements aren't going against you. You know, this is to signify that you're like at this new stage, you know, a time in North Dakota where like people start going to the river and people start going to the Capitol grounds. People start realizing that the harsh winter that you had to survive is done. And you feel the darkness is slowly like dissipating and you're not quite sure like what it is dissipating to, but the darkness is almost being replaced by like a brightness, like a warm sun. And you're thinking that for a second in your head and you realize that you are staring into the sun. What are you doing?
So it's like, I'm kind of just like taking a second and, enjoying this almost heat on my face because I think this is the end. And I'm just in my head, I'm just kind of like playing out like, well, this is what it's like to die. And I'm just kind of like letting that heat just kind of like wash over my face and just kind of like soaking it in, just like taking the last moments of pleasure I can in this, because I'm not sure what's going to happen. All this time I felt this faith in my God, and I don't really feel it right now. And I'm not really sure what's going to happen beyond this moment, if the lights are just going to turn out and it's just going to be nothingness forever. But he's just kind of like with his eyes closed, just sort of like ready.
And you feel like when you close your eyes, you start feeling your body again. You feel like your hands are in grass and you smell like grass for a second. And then you feel like a hand like come across your hand and squeeze it gently.
I open my eyes to see who's next to me, see what this dream is all about, this last vision.
And when you look, you turn your face and you look and you see a face staring back at you, and it's a woman's face. And you see for a moment that you're like trying to make out who it is. And then you see she has like blonde hair and she looks like young. She looks to be like 18 or 19, you know, like, which is a lot younger than you are right now. Like so, you know, even at the stage of your life, I would assume or would say that maybe like when you see youth and vitality like that, you recognize it more, seeing how much life is like kind of taking its like toll on you, you know? And it's like, you know, not like a sex thing or whatever. It's more like recognizing like, hey, like life hasn't like shit on them yet, you know? Life hasn't like done everything that it's done to like people that you know. But there's a familiarity. And you hear like her look at you and she's like, hello, Wayne. And that voice like just like kind of sings around in your head. And you're literally laying and looking at her on the side. And she sits up for a second and you see her back. And you can see like the top part of like she's wearing like some jean shorts, and you see like this blouse that was like kind of popular like in the 70s, like has like a flower pattern. Something you don't see like kids now in the 80s wear with like fluorescent like wild shapes or, you know, any like heavy metal. It's like almost has that like Brady Bunch vibe to it. And you see like she looks down at you while you're laying, and like the sun is bright, like coming from behind her and almost like radiates off her like golden blonde hair that kind of like comes and it's parted in the middle. It kind of comes down to the side of her face. That again, that vibe of like what was cool when you were like a preteen, you know, when you see like these girls, like older girls, you know, and then there's a second where you're like, and you remember like this is Amanda, and she's like looking down at you for a moment. And she see the smile like come across her face. It's like tranquil, like smile that represents more wisdom than like the whole embodiment of her that you saw earlier. And she's like, sit up, let's talk.
I look at her and I smile, and then I sit up, and I just feel like I did when I was a little kid. Like if I was looking down at myself right now, it would be the kid version of me and not the Wayne right now. And then we're just kind of like sitting together, and I'm just like smiling at her, and she's just like smiling at me, and I'm just like really happy.
So you're kind of at a crossroads right now.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, huh?
Yeah. And she just looks at you for a second. She's like, the choice is yours, though. There's peace, and you're going to see people that you know, and they're waiting for you. Or you can go back. And if you go back, it's going to be hard.
It's okay, Amanda. It's always been hard.
And there's a moment where like she looks at you for a second and she leans forward and she plants a kiss on your forehead. And the moment that her lips just separate from your skin, all of a sudden your eyes open and you smell like this like hay smell, and you're like cold, extremely cold, and you ache and your body aches and your mouth is really dry and you feel dizzy and you feel like you have like your eyes feel heavy, like your thumbs have been pressed into your eyes, almost like this headache is just going throughout your head. And you see that when your eyes are open, you see like the ceiling of a barn, like you're looking up at a ceiling, and you're like trying to like sit up and move up, and your side hurts and your stomach hurts, and you see a figure come up to you, and it's that Billy kid, and you see that he's looking down at you and he's smiling, and you're trying to like weakly like kind of like grab at him, but you're so like so much, you don't know this, but so much blood has been spilled. You're like almost like extremely dehydrated at this point. And you see that he smiles at you and he's like, you will be the vessel and you will see, but you will need help. And you see him turn and look, and you see someone come walking up behind him, and they have like this little like glass, like almost looks like a vial with like a little dropper. And you see that like someone goes and they like hold open your eyes, and you see someone come with the dropper, and they put like one drop in one of your eyes, and then they put another drop in another of your eyes. And you like, it stings your eyes for a second. You try to like close your eyes, and then all of a sudden you feel your existence start ripping apart. We'll cut to Mike and Derek. Derek, you hear this door open and you see figures are starting to come out. And there's this weird like second of awkward, like the door bursts open and they like start running forward and they stop and they see you. And you're like looking at them, but it's dark, you know, and like you can't really make out too much. And they stop for a second. And there's almost like this weird, like like, wait, what? Like, you can't make out their details. They can't make out your details. And you hear them go, wait, what? And you hear like a commotion, like they're stopping to decide what to do. And then all of a sudden you hear one of them run forward. It's like, that's some of them. And then you just see them like, they're like 3 steps behind you. Mike and Derek, what are you guys doing at that moment when you hear them say, that's some of them?
Now, how far away are they?
They are about 4 steps above Derek, who's about 2 steps above you. So they're about 6 steps away. There was like a moment where they stopped because they were like not expecting someone to be on the stairway like that. And then all of a sudden they realize that you're not some of them. And I mean, you guys don't quite know what's going on either at this point, but like, yeah, I'll let you look up stuff real quick.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to.
No. Take your time. No, swear to God, no pressure. Take your time. I want you guys to fully utilize. I hope you guys are having fun.
All right, I'm just gonna grab Derek and run.
Yeah, that was my suggestion. Derek is just pushing onward. He's probably like bumping into Mike and like pushing him down the steps. And
I assume Mike just drags Derek. Like he knows he's scared, so he'll just take him.
Yeah, start
and like
Yeah. So I'm gonna have you both roll a dexterity and athletics, and then I'm gonna have them roll the dexterity and athletics too, since they are like all trying to like come down to.
I have chasing as a specialty.
No, it's like the opposite, right?
Yeah. Mike's not used to being on this side of the chase.
Well, this is just like I said, it's a charge, but away from the enemy.
Right.
They only got one.
Should have just taken a run like Alex.
I had them roll 3 dice because like they have minus because they're like all like bumping into each other. They only got 1 success.
I'm still considering spending willpower.
May be an option that you want.
That.
Yeah, like
willpower in the system gives me 3 extra dice. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. To be honest, 3 dice is like the average. 3 or 4 dice is like the average human.
I saw Wayne's comment. Need to see the range of this fireball.
I rolled 7 dice and I got 1 success.
Oh, well, he's a big lugging North Dakotan. You know what I mean? But hey, you didn't fall. Did you roll, Mike?
Yeah, I got 1 success.
Oh, I apologize. I've been sitting here waiting for Mike. I'm sorry. So you both are booking it down, and you get to the bottom first floor, entrance, and you burst it open, and you're on the north side of the first floor, east side of the first floor, and you look and you see you can run down the hallway, or it's right like by you is a door that leads to the side, that leads outside of the east side of this building that you can just like crack open easily and continue to run out there. Which way are you guys going?
Which way's closer?
The door outside.
Yeah, let's just take that one.
Yeah, outside seems clever because it's more open.
Yeah. So you burst the door, boom, you push it open, and you see that there's a sidewalk that goes to like a dormitory that's on the east side. The one just out of character, the one that Wayne was on was the west side dormitory at the beginning. And you burst open the door. And when you guys burst open the door and you start running out, there's a moment where, oh shit. And you see that there's more kids, not like waiting for you, but they're like sporadically like coming out the door. And there's a moment where you stop and the kids look at you, and then they also start chasing after you guys as you guys start running off towards, like, I don't know, which way are you going to run? There's 2 ways you can run. You can run away to the north, like you look and you don't see that there's anyone there, or you can look to run to the south where you see that there's cars there, like the cars that you came in, your vans there, but you see that there's kids sporadically through there, like, and you're looking and you're almost like seeing that there's like a bunch of kids, teenagers, I use the term kids, but a bunch of preteens and teenagers that are out in front of these buildings, and you see like some of them are heading towards like the barn almost. What are you guys doing?
I'm trying to direct Mike towards the car park.
I love how you say car park. It reminds me of when Alex played with us and he called it a car park. I'm like, what? Is that a parking lot? Back in the negligence days, dude. Go into the car park, eh? Whatever. What about you, Mike? What are you doing?
Quick question. We haven't seen any sign of Wayne or Alex yet, right?
Not at all, no.
Yeah. So there's no one else outside, right?
No, there's so
right.
You run out this east side entrance. You see like 20 feet away from you, there's people coming out of that dormitory. You look to the left, which is the north, and you just see like a field with like snow. And then you look to the right, and then there's like the parking lot that's about 50 meters away where you guys parked. And then you see like that barn and the road, and you see like there's like silhouettes of like there's people out in the snow, like the wind is blowing and everything.
How many?
Oh man, I don't know. You're like trying to do a quick count, and like you aren't able to get like a.
I don't need 20. I need between 6 and 12 or something like that.
It's more than 12. It's like probably like 25 or more. And and then you definitely see like there's a bunch that are by the barn. Like they're like it seems like their goal is ahead to the barn. And there's even a moment where you're like looking and you see like fire flames are like kind of like coming from the fourth, third, and second floor. You know what I mean? Like the building was being set on fire. You see that there's flames when the north area, when you look, there's old buildings that seem to be like that were set on fire there. It looks like pandemonium. It almost looks like that there's like they're not riding, but it looks like it could be like a riot in the middle of fucking blizzard weather.
So they're going towards the barn, but they're not.
Yeah.
They don't see us.
Yeah. And you actually all of a sudden, well, let me rephrase that. The people chasing you see you, and then the people
obviously.
and the people coming out of the west dormitory or the east dormitory, who were like, there's like two of them. They're like, oh shit, they're kind of like caught off guard seeing you there. So I would say there's probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 people.
So what I want to do is run towards the car.
Yeah, you can run towards it. You guys could definitely beeline towards the car. Yeah.
Definitely do that.
Yeah.
So you guys start running towards the car. I'm going to have you do another dexterity and athletics, please. And this time I'm going to -1 because of the snow that is going on there.
Yeah, but then the people chasing us will also get a
for sure.
-1, and it will get just canceled. Anyway, I'll use a willpower for this.
Do I use another willpower?
You can't take it with you.
Okay, I'm using it.
Fucking garbage. Yeah, I have 1 success.
Oh, I have 3.
Yeah, nice. The jogger's having issues, but Derek's like, fuck this. So, Mike, you're running and you're able to like keep the same pace because you're sliding. You're finding having a hard time, like keeping your grip on the ice and on in the snow and with everything that the fresh snow that's falling in the wind. But Derek, you have those work boots on. Those work boots are getting you like awesome traction right now. And as you're running like through the snow, you get up to your van and you actually have your jacket still on. You got your keys in there. But when you get up to your van, you stop for a second, you look and you see like one of the tires had been flattened. Like the driver side tire is like flat on the snow there. And you look for a second and you look at the other tires that are next to you, which is this Oldsmobile, which you don't know whose vehicle it is, and you see that the tires were flattened there. And then you see like a Mitsubishi next to there, but the door's open, which is weird, you know. And then to the passenger side of the truck, there's a pickup truck there. And you see that you turn and you look and you see like the 4 or 5 kids chasing after Mike, and Mike is making his way towards there. And then all of a sudden you see like a couple like figures are like turning and looking, and then you hear pop, 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 and it's coming like from towards the barn there. And you're not quite sure where, but all of a sudden you see like some figures like running towards like that barn area. Like that, it's just pandemonium at this stage.
Do I feel like I have time to get onto the passenger side of the car and grab my revolver from the?
Oh yeah, you have time. Yeah, for sure, you have time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely want to do that.
It's gonna become a shootout.
Deposit the tapes.
Yeah.
In the car, like under the seat, maybe just. Honestly, I'm just tossing them in the air so I don't have that stupid bag around me constantly.
Yeah. It's like in real life, I got the stupid backpack that's like running with it's a pain in the ass, you know? All right. So let's go ahead and we will roll initiative. So initiative is going to be, so everyone roll initiative. So I'm going to have you 2 roll initiative, the result of the die roll plus your dexterity and composure. So you're going to roll 1d10 and then you're going to add your dexterity and composure to it. All right, so we will say that they have a 13 initiative. What's your guys' initiative?
I have 12 total.
12?
I have 14.
14. All right, so you get to go first, Mike. You see like Derek like is fooling around with his car, and you see like throw something, like he runs around the passenger side, he throws something in there and he pulls something out. You could tell by how he's handling whatever he pulls out, that's probably his pistol that he has. And you can act first. So you are getting right to the parking lot. You know, you feel your foot like go onto the blacktop, and you're looking behind you, see these kids are still chasing you, but they're about like 20 feet behind you. You're definitely quicker than them. I'll give you that because you run quite often and you're an adult, you know. So go ahead.
All right. So Mike's gonna shoot him.
Okay. So we'll say that you have a pistol heavy. I would say that's probably what you're packing, right?
No, he has a pistol light. I
Okay.
have the stats here.
Okay.
He's at 75, which means I add +2 dice for it.
Yeah. Wow.
I have 16 +1 in the clip.
Nice. Go ahead and do it.
do the thing. Let me
Kill some kids, you fucking evil motherfuckers, dude. What do you and Dunstern have in common?
Man, no, I mean, Dunstern diddles them. We just kill them, man.
No, Dunstern, I think, eats them, man. But yeah, it does
Yeah,
that.
he eats them.
Let's not get into this. Let's not get into
Who
the
knows?
whole. Who knows what he does? This is all fade to black. That shit. I don't
Yeah.
even know what he
I
does.
assume they don't have armor, so I'll just roll this.
Yeah.
That's 3 damage.
So you fire and you hit like one of them, and you see like one just falls over in the snow. You know, like just of the 5 that are coming at you. So there's 4 more that are rushing towards. Then it is their turn, right? So they come up upon you, Mike. And you're like, shit, you aim and and like one falls. And you see like one has to like jump over, so only one gets to you. And you see he has like this claw hammer like in his hand. Like these you're like, what? Like it almost looks like these kids were just like picking up anything that they can use for a weapon. And they go and he goes and swings it at you. So what is your defense?
2.
All right. So he's gonna have 3 D10. Oh, so this kid goes and like tries to swing this hammer at you, and you like duck out. Like it's funny, you fire and you hit one of the kids, and the kid like kind of leaps over him and goes to try to hit you with a hammer, and you kind of do the shoulder shrug, and the kid like slides right past you, like trips over himself. Go ahead, Derek. You see this kid like, fall past Mike. You're on the passenger side, by the way. Mike's on the driver's side at this point, because he was running the same direction you're running. So you can see the kids are still coming. You still have a shot at him, but the one kid who tried to attack him, you can't see because he kind of like tripped over himself and he fell like on the driver's side of the truck there.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether Derek would just shoot any of the kids unless they're like actively attacking either Mike or him.
Well, you're getting the vibe they're going for Mike for sure. You just saw one like go and attack him with the hammer, But I don't know. We can do a courage roll. We can figure out, you know what I mean? Like how Derek would respond to this if he has like the mental, if he wants to take the shot, or I don't know. It's your call.
So I gave him a specialty in his firearms skill of self-defense.
Oh,
so I believe he like had a training of some kind. But like there's hesitation of like attacking some teenager. But
just shoot him in the leg or something, or just disarm him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's like trying to take.
That's a terrible idea, but sure, go for it.
Okay. So if you try to go ahead,
leg or arm is a -2.
Yeah, leg or arm's a -2. So you have +2 for your weapon. So just give me your dexterity and firearms. That's what you're gonna roll.
I got 2 successes actually.
All right, so that's.
I believe at character creation I picked a heavy pistol.
Oh, okay. So you actually had 1 extra dice to roll if you used a heavy pistol. So you can roll 1 more dice then. I thought you were using a light pistol too. So
that's another success then.
So you shoot this other kid in the leg and he's like hits him in the thigh and you see the kid fall over. So there's 2 kids now that are still rushing towards Michael at the moment. Mike, you can go ahead and act now. You see 2, there's a lot, bam, and you see like one of them fall. And you see Derek is like over the hood, like on the passenger side, like he shot one of them in the legs there.
Good job, Derek. And yeah, Mike is just gonna go and prepare to take out one of the last 2.
Go ahead and fire.
3 successes again.
So you hit another one in the chest. Boom! And you see him fall back. And then you see the final one stops, and he's like, there's a second where like all of a sudden, like the courage is like, you see, like he has this. He stops and you there's this awkward moment, right? Where it's like you 2 are looking at him and he's looking at you and the snow's coming across and you just see him for a second. He's like shaking a little bit and he has something in his hand and you can't make out what it is. It looks like it's like a butterfly knife or like some like cheap like knife that like delinquents have or whatever. And you see him for a second and he's looking at you and he just screams. He starts rushing towards you. So I'm going to have him go ahead and roll. And he goes by Michael. And as he comes up to you, you're like, shit. And there's a moment where you're like trying to get aim on him and he just slashes across with his butterfly knife. And it like cuts through your jacket. And it, like, you can feel it like kind of like hit into your forearm of your left hand, the one that you kind of brace along the handle of your pistol with. And you got 1 lethal damage right now. And then go ahead, Derek. It's your turn.
So one of them is still on Mike.
Yeah. One of them just like slashed him across. The last one just like slashed him across with a like a knife or something across his forearm. You see like Mike wince for a second.
Yeah, Derek is going to try the same thing again, especially this time because he really doesn't want to hit Mike like in the chaos.
Yeah, so Dex and firearms +1 then.
Yeah, for my Dex and firearms +1. Wait.
Okay, so originally when I said +0, I thought you had a light pistol, which gives you a +2. You have a
Right.
heavy pistol, which gives you a +3. So I'm subtracting 2 because you're doing a call shot. So that's why.
Now I get it.
Yeah,
And again, I have the specialty self-defense. Does that actually make sense? Can I use that?
Yep.
So what does that do exactly?
Specialties, I believe, give you one. He's like, I'm trying to self-defense. This kid does 7 damage. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit.
I wish White Wolf understood how guns worked.
I know,
Instead of
dude.
just
Like you guys could literally shoot 3
5
times in a row.
successes.
Holy shit, bro. So you see the kid, he just slashing, all of a sudden you just hear a pow, Mike, and you see him like crumble over. And you realize, like, oh shit, you see just like he got hit in his thigh, and you see blood just like spurting. Like, it's not like a normal gunshot was spurting, and you know he got hit in the artery. And the kid just like falls on the ground, and he's just like looking up at you, and you see like he's shaking, and like all of a sudden he's like trying to put his hand over his thigh, and the blood is like squirting through his fingers. And you come around, Eric, and you look, and you see this kid's this blood. You didn't ever picture this would happen before when you shot someone. You see blood like going along almost like with his heartbeat at this moment. And that's the end of combat. And Mike, you feel like this hand trying to grab around your boot though, or you're like a shoe, and you see the figure who like slipped and like had tried to attack you with the hammers, like trying to grab you and like pull you down. But he's like a 14-year-old kid. He's so like a man, you know, he's a skinny runt of a kid.
Mike's gonna shoot him in the head.
Oh shit. So okay.
I feel like Mike, like when he was shooting, you know, what I wanted to say, like when that last kid that ran up to him, like looked him in the eyes, like Mike wasn't seeing people, you know, he's just seeing fucking targets, you know. And he's like, these people want to kill me, or kids, whatever.
So
I'm gonna get them first. It's like, it's not like being a cop. It's more like from the Wogstetter experience and everything. He's like, no mercy at all, ever.
Okay, I love that. And you go ahead and you aim. And you pull the trigger, and you see like his head explode on the blacktop. You just see it from the light of the overhead light. And even though it's windy and snow, you can still make out him on the ground. And it's just your ears are ringing loud from the shot. And you can smell the tar that burnt through from the bullet. And you see brain matter that is on Derek's flat tire.
The Ultimate Evil focuses on people versus the dark mysteries of the world. Inferno Temptation follows the similar theme as two mortals are haunted by two demons who won't let them go. Listen to find out if Brother Jan and Sir Reinhardt give in to temptation.